Going. Hello, everyone. Good to see your smiling faces in the daytime. Dr. Shacy here. If you are new to LifeWave or maybe new to this channel, welcome. If you are a seasoned brand partner, welcome. Good to see all your faces. We decided to start something new, and I'm going to share with you what that is. So we were in Punta Cana last week. I don't know, 1,000 of us, and we know all of you are going to be in Punta Mita with us in April. But we really were talking as a leadership team on what are some things that you're doing that's working in your business? What are some of your tools? What are some of your techniques, the ins and outs, the nuances? And it was become apparent that there were some things that some of us were doing that others weren't, and they sounded pretty, like, oh, that could be beneficial. There were maybe some ways that some were teaching that others didn't think about. And so, through a conversation, I was asked if I would please commit to 8 weeks. This is week 1, to 8 weeks of just 30 minutes on advanced level business training. And I said, oh, of course, I will do that. I'm happy to do that. I have done business training, obviously, for 3.5 years for my team. And so, meaning me, my downline, right? So I said, yep, I'm happy to share some of the tips and tricks and tools and things that I've utilized along the way. So today's Zoom is going to be just an introduction of that. I'm going to share with you the things that you have to look forward to over the next 8 weeks. And I will kind of group them together as they would normally and naturally flow through your business and organization. I would say in my world, okay? Maybe not in yours, but in mine. I'll do that, okay? And then I also want to really talk to you a little bit more about this kind of overall underlying theme for the whole 8 weeks, all right? So let's first of all get out your pad of paper, get out your pen, and make a list 1 to 8, okay? That's your first thing. One of the first things we're going to talk about is the importance of personal growth and development. Reading. Leaders are readers. So that's going to be something that's going to be an underline for every one of these sessions, but we're really going to dive a little bit deeper into that today. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. But let's go to number 2. We're going to talk about how to become a manager making machine. So number 2 is manager making machine. Number 3, we're really going to dive into your back office. And we're going to look at what that looks like, because you're obviously making managers, and we need to look at where are they? Right leg, left leg. What's my GVU? What's their GVU? How close are they to promotions? How close am I? We're going to look at all of that, okay? We're also going to talk about why we're doing and how we're doing these activities to create the managers that are popping up in our organizations. So we're going to talk about that income producing activity. All right, so your next one's going to be income producing activity. So number 1, we're really going to talk about leaders as readers. Number 2, we're really going to talk about becoming a manager making machine. Number 3, we're going to look into that back office. We're going to look into how people grow and promote in that back office and what that looks like. We're going to talk about number 4, how you're doing that, the income producing activity that's creating this. And the order may shift a little bit. I just wrote all these down off the top of my head earlier, okay? Number 5, we're going to talk about Project Broadcast. That is something I've utilized since day 1 in my business, and that has allowed me to really be able to stay in touch with my customers and my brand partners, and to even be able to create groups of them so I can target and talk to different people differently inside of this one little super simple app. So we're going to dive into that in a little bit as well. Not today, but in a few weeks. We're going to talk about where you want your business to grow globally. So we're going to spend some time really diving into that bigger picture of the globe. Sometimes in the beginning, of course, this is why we're not starting with this one, but in the beginning, we talk about our friends, our family, our neighborhood, our church, our community, right? We talk about that, but we really need to look at a global business. And where would I love to travel to, or where would I love, what type of people would I love to connect with and build relationships with? So we'll dive into that map of your business. The next, number 7, we're going to talk about building your business on social media / at events. So we're going to talk about either building social media, what that looks like, or maybe even building at events like expos and wellness types of events and things like that. Okay, so we're going to dive into some other outreach methods to reach out to more people. Again, remember in the beginning, especially if you're a newer brand partner, it's just here, it's small, right? But as your business grows, like I've reached out to all my initial contacts 3.5 years ago. How am I still enrolling new people? And so that's going to carry over, right? As we grow our business, we're going to learn how to do that. And maybe you do that already in your business. I don't know. I personally did not, as far as social media. I didn't do anything online, nothing on social media until I got to the top of the company, because I knew the demographics of the people that I would be working with would not be their strong suit for the majority of them. And so I wanted to say I got to the top of the company with no social media. I did it all belly to belly, talking to people, messaging with people, meeting with people, Zooming with people, small groups, large groups, individuals. So all the way to SPD with nothing online, other than obviously private Zooms, which is not online. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is the trips, the incentives. We're going to talk about those. And obviously we know we have that's going on right now. By the time we get to that 8th week, you will have already earned that trip. So then you're going to need to want to spend the rest of that time that we have left, around the next 6-8 weeks left in that time period, helping your team to do the exact same thing if they haven't gotten there yet. But if you stay connected for the next, 8 weeks and do the things that we're going to be talking about, I have no doubt that you'll all be joining us in either Punta Mita or Croatia, or maybe you are going to be going to Bali. I want to go to all 3. I want all 3 trips. All 3 look absolutely amazing to me. I'm going to ask. I don't know if they'll say yes. Maybe, who knows? I thought maybe if I earn my spot, Trey earns his spot, and Brent earns his spot, maybe we each could just, pick one to go to, or I could just take Trey as my guest to all of them and go to all 3. I don't know, but anyway, I just love to travel. I love to travel. I have never been to Bali in my entire life, and it is definitely on my dream board. It's just the flight time. I'm right now, I'm loving Europe in 7 or 8 hours. I'm not for sure if I'm looking forward yet to a 16-20 hour flight, but I'll get there. So let's spend the next 20 minutes. And I definitely want to be able to have you guys, and if somebody did write them down and wants to type them up and put in the chat, please do that. Feel free. I literally am a pen and paper girl. So they didn't get on anything like in a computer. They were right there on my notebook, and it didn't dawn on me to type them up yet. So I just got off of a Zoom a second ago, so I'm back to back to back. But I wanted to make sure I had, thank you, Elizabeth. God, you're incredible. You're amazing. Fantastic. Elizabeth put them in there for you guys. So again, they may not be exactly in that order. It's going to kind of depend on what flows out of me and through me with what I need to make sure I'm teaching you guys in that correct order, or whatever God tells me to do. Honestly, that's really how I roll with everything. But I want to be able to spend our next 20 minutes. If you have questions, then we'll have some time for a little bit of Q&A. I do want to keep this interactive, so it's not just me talk for 30 minutes. You have the ability to type in the chat. If you have a question, then I'll be happy to do some little answering, okay? But get that notebook back out, because there's a book that I want you to write down, all right? So one of the big things that I do, I've always done, I don't know if you guys know this about me or not, but I used to be a reading teacher, okay? Reading, language arts. I taught reading. I taught inner city middle school kids that could care less about a book. They needed food and shelter, right? We are talking inner city. Free and reduced lunch was 95% of our population in that middle school. So they didn't care about reading. My job as a reading teacher was to try to figure out how to get them to care about reading. What was the importance? Why would they do that? If you can read, you can do anything. Like if you can't read, you can't do any other subject in school. You're not going to figure out math or science or history. You may be able to scoot through gem, right? If you don't have a written test, but you got to be able to read. And what happened through the course of me, 30 plus years ago, whenever that was, 1990 something, 5, being able to help these kids fall in love with reading, I fell in love with reading at an even deeper level. And of course, as a teacher, I had done a lot of reading. There was always personal development workshops we were attending. I remember the Who Moved Your Cheese book was the big one back then in the 90s. And some of you may have read that book. But it was really about how to teach people to fall in love with reading, to find things that were relevant and important to them. And then I had kids, of course, and no longer had a desire to teach 160 other ones all day long. I wanted to be home with my own and enter network marketing into my world. I had no idea what it was. I had zero reference point for anything other than my mom used to have Amway products underneath the kitchen counter. And I didn't know they were Amway other than they just said Amway. She never talked about them. She didn't sell them. We had lots of Tupperware bowls. I knew about that. But again, she didn't sell them. We didn't talk about it. My mom was a stay-at-home mom and then a secretary as I got a little older. So no entrepreneurs in the family. My dad was a Boilermaker. He built power plants. So I had no reference point for being out on my own running a business. Someone introduced me to a company, a personal care product company that had something that offered a solution for my daughter. And when I got involved in that company, I literally had no idea what I was doing other than buying this product for my child. That was all I had signed up for. But I really wanted to be home with my kids. And someone had said, well, you can quit your job and this can be your full-time thing. And I'm thinking, well, it's not going to take much. I mean, I'm a teacher. I have a master's degree and I'm making $1,800 a month. Woo! Like that was not much to write home about with a master's degree. I was shocked, honestly, after spending all that time in college. And so they said, you can replace your income super fast. All you have to do is read this book. You buy these products, right? You use the products. Don't worry about what's in them. Don't worry. They're clean. The tagline was pure, safe, and beneficial. So it was perfectly clean, safe, healthy, personal care products. But read this book and read this book every day. Read it over and over again until you're rich. You'll be able to retire from teaching and be home with your kids. So me, 30 years old, says, okay, I'll do that. And that's what I want to share with you guys. I want to share with you this book that I read every single day for that entire 9 months of that school year. I read the book every day. I taught school every day. I didn't see my kids that much that 9 months at all. About 4 months into that first, and let me back up. We had no cell phone capability except for calling. Okay. There was no text. There was no FaceTime. There was no Zoom. There was no Facebook. We didn't have social media. We could email someone from our desktop computer. Okay, so let's keep that in mind here. You guys remember those days, right? So I'm teaching all day. So I come home in the evening and I'm out in people's homes, right? I'm doing these little in-home parties and I'm sharing the product with these people. And 4 months go by and I'm making $8,000 a month. Okay, this is back in, 20 something years ago. I'm making $8,000 a month and my husband's like, no way that's going to stay. You are not quitting your teaching job. You're still teaching. I'm like, but I'm exhausted. I'm going out of town on the weekends, teaching, training about this product, educating people. So I keep teaching, right? I keep teaching and my check keeps going up and I keep reading and my check keeps going up. By the end of the school year in May, I went to my principal and I said, I'm so grateful for you. I love you. You're incredible, but I'm done. I'm leaving. Goodbye. I'm out. I was making $15,000 a month. And my husband's like, you cannot afford to be in that building anymore. You're done. You found your calling. Well, go rock and roll, right? And it wasn't that he was controlling what I was doing, but we had an agreement. Like, you need to replace your income and we need to make sure this is going to last. And I knew that it was going to last because of the things that I was reading in this book and the things that I was seeing in people's lives and the feeling I was feeling. I'm still teaching people. I was just actually teaching adults that were more attentive. They wanted to learn, right? But even through the process, I was able to help my kids be able to be more excited about reading because of my passion for reading, my love of reading and helping others. And so the book that I want to share with you guys, some of you may have seen it, some of you may have not. It's called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. Now, this is from 1910. I don't think we have anyone on here that is that old. So I'm going to say that no one was around when Wallace was, okay? But this book, when I got into that first company, and they said, buy the product, use the product, share the product, read the book, don't read anything else. Read this book over and over again until you're rich. And I'll share this with you guys because I have it right here. If I can grab it really quickly. Yeah, look at this. This is my first copy of the book over 20 years ago. Yes, that's probably coffee on it. I have no idea. But look at this. If I can get some of these pages to flip. Look at this. I used pink highlighter, you guys. And I wrote all over it all the time as I read it and read it and read it and read it. And it went with me everywhere, in every bag, every briefcase, every book bag I had, every airplane I got on, this was with me. And back then we didn't have the audio, so there was no audio. So every second I had that I was not working, I was reading that book, some chapter from that book. So why is this important? Because this book is not about, let's say, getting rich for selfish reasons. This is about living a life in such a way that you are not only helping yourself, but you're also living from a place of heart, of integrity, of honesty, of gratitude, of commitment to others. So this takes place not only for you and your family, but this also shows you how coming from a place of love will help you to exponentially grow your business. And I say this all the time, but I sometimes I think, I know people are programmed, meaning we all have a set of beliefs that we grew up to believe, things we believe to be true based on our childhood, our friends, our family, coworkers, whatever. We were all programmed, right? If you know anything about neuroscience, your brain is wide open to everything that anyone says you take on to be completely true until you're age 12. After 12, your analytical mind kicks in and you start to go, I don't know. But yet these subconscious programs run in the background that say, I'm not good enough, or she doesn't like me, or he thinks I'm stupid, or I'm not this, or I'm not that, or blah, 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 right? Not that we don't have good programs, we do, but a lot of those exist. And they also exist around money. Money doesn't grow on trees. Only evil people have money. Who do you think we are? Rockefeller? You know, all the things run through the mind whenever you have people impressing that into your subconscious mind. As we age, those things become hardwired. Now, by the time we're 35, our brains are hardwired, meaning no longer placid or changeable. Women, my women on the call right now, you have a little bit more plasticity, okay? We can change a little bit easier than men. Men, good luck, right? How many of you are married? Like, I'm not going to change him. Bless his soul. Hopefully he'll get it. If he doesn't, okay, whatever. We're moving on. But we can only work on ourselves, and we tend to be more open to that. So this book talks to you and talks you through the actual science of obtaining wealth. Wealth is not just money, you guys. It's not about a monetary gain. The science of getting rich is about being wealthy. Wealthy is a wealth of abundance of love in your life, of peace in your life, of joy in your life, of happiness in your life. Prosperity is absolutely included. There are 2,200 references to being an abundant person in the Bible. I took Dave Ramsey's prosperity what is that called? Oh, I just saw it hit my timeline today. I literally just completed it 10 years ago today. Dave Ramsey's Prosperity Abundance. I don't know. It was an 8-week course I took. Interesting. This is an 8-week course. Wow. Woo, woo. Okay. Just had a moment there. I don't know if you all had one, but I did. Okay. So here I am. We're not going to teach those exact same things. He really talked a lot about diversification and the different buckets. But anyway, that Financial Peace University, that's what it was. And so talking about in the Bible, because this was taught at church here locally in Florida, every single week for 8 weeks, we listened to him, and it was talking about being prosperous in your life, in your family, and helping other people to do the exact same thing. And that's what this book teaches you, being wealthy in all the things, not just in your bank account, which really matters. It does, because we're not trading sheep and cow anymore, you guys. We need something in the bank. We don't actually even need cash anymore either, do we? It's all like an electronic transfer. We're just hoping it all stays there so we can continue to use it, even though we still do have cash and all the things, the coins and stuff in our safes. But making sure that you're wealthy in all areas, relationships, finances, with your own self, right? With your businesses, your partners that you're working with. So what I wanted to do is, starting today, okay, if you don't have this book, this is like $3.50 on Amazon. It may be $6.50, depending on what copy front you get. But I buy these by the hundreds for $3.50. That's only 17 short little baby chapters long. They're not, the page numbers aren't even numbered, so I can't tell you how many pages, but I can tell you it's not long. But what we're going to do is, before we come back next Wednesday, I want you to read chapter 1 and 2. Now, you can definitely do the audio. You can go to YouTube and listen to it for free. It won't cost you anything. But I want to go back to being a reading teacher. I did have the largest library in our entire school corporation. And I'm talking, I don't know, we had 100-something schools between elementary and high school. I had the largest library because I became obsessed with buying books for these kids that interested them. And I've done the same thing in all my businesses and my teams. I'm obsessed with buying books and giving them to my teams as gifts. So anytime you see me at a conference or a retreat or something, I'm passing out books, because I feel like it's important that people are reading, right? Our income will only grow to the extent that we do, and it's up here. And so we are going to read chapters 1 and 2, but I highly recommend you buy the book. Why? Because these things here, right? That was a brand new one I just showed you. But these things here, this pen to the paper, this stamps things in your subconscious mind. There is power to your pen. I promise you, it is not the same. I was a teacher. Remember? That's why I'm doing this. Visual. You need to visually see things. Yes, I am auditorily speaking to you, but it doesn't always compute. Trust me. Sometimes I'm on Zoom, so I'm like, God, they're not getting it. Well, let me say it again. Let me say it again. I'm trying to say it a different way, because I can feel, no matter if there's 1,000 of you on there, I can feel that there's not a chunk of you really getting it. And so I'll try to say it a different way. That's why I love PowerPoints. I love when I interview people and they bring on PowerPoints, or I did one last night, because then you can visually see something. We all learn differently, but there's a whole nother level to this when you are actually applying the kinesthetics. This is the kinesthetics. This is the movement, the physical, okay? There is power to physically writing things down, just like you write your goals. I do not want to hear my goals are in my head, or I know where my team is, they're in my head. And I'm like, no, they're not. You've got 60,000 thoughts in that head every day. You are definitely not focused on the things that you could or should be focused on when they're all up in your head. How many of you have lists like this right here? Here's a list for me, right? Here's a list for me. Look at this one. These all got crossed off today. I write things down, because then it also triggers me to make sure that I'm getting them done. And I'll go cross them off when I've accomplished them. Same thing when you're reading. when you take the time to write in the book, underline, circle, star, highlight, asterisk, whatever, it is pushing that into your core of your being, into your subconscious mind to say, hey, let's think about these new thoughts. Let's take maybe these on to be our new truth because, well, this is what's said in the Bible. This is what's said in spiritual law, right? This is real, just like gravity. Maybe this should be something that I take on to be truth. Let me apply this in my life and see how it works. And then when it does, you go, oh, I want to do that again. Let me try that thing. Let me try that gratitude journal again. That worked out really well. I'm grateful for not only what I have, but the things that I have that I don't even have yet that I want. Wow. Okay, let's do that again because they show up, right? And so being able to read a chapter or two a week, right? And when we come back next week, let's talk about you in the chat. You can put, we're not going to like have open conversation because we'll 200 300 people, but we'll put in the chat a key takeaway from chapters 1 or 2 key takeaways or 5 key takeaways. I don't care. But I think it's important that not only are you reading yourself and taking some things away and making your notes, but sharing that with others, because as a teacher, and this is like it. If you guys want to become proficient in this business, you learn, you take in, and you teach. When you teach someone else, it is embedded in you. It is ingrained in you. That's what I do. I listen to David. How many of you just listened to David talk about the water machine and the powders, right? I heard all that at conference, listened to it all again on my recording that I had myself, and I listened to it again today. And I take notes every time. And then I turn around and I teach that to someone else. Not all of it word for word like him. No, don't have the same brain. But grateful for the stuff that I can take in, digest, and remember, write down and remember, and share with other people. So that's why it's really important. We're going to do our topics that we're going to do, but I wanted to really spend today talking about the foundation of reading for success. I said it in the beginning, leaders are readers. It's not just about being a leader in this business. It's about being that leader of abundance, of wealth, of all things great from God in all areas of your life. And this book encompasses that exactly. And it will help us to stay on track as we're growing our business. You don't get to the top of the company and be like, okay, I think I'll now read a personal development book and maybe expand my mindset, right? The success comes as you grow your mind, right? As you're happy doing what you're doing, that's when that success comes in, when it compounds, okay? So we've got about 2 minutes. Oh, I love to hear you guys are ordering it. That's fantastic. I just want to double check, make sure we don't have any questions here. If you do, I want to get those answered. Oh, awesome. Somebody said they printed the book from 1910, the printable version from Google Books. That's fantastic. Yes. So chapter 1 and chapter 2 are what we are going to have you guys put in the chats next week. Okay. And just making sure, converted paper pen. I love it. Okay. So I love it. You guys are printing these off. It's fantastic. Yay, 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 yay. Okay, and yeah, the name of the book is The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace D. Wattles. Yep, Wallace Wattles, Science of Getting Rich. All right, perfect, 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 perfect. Okay, you guys, so if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to let us know. This is recorded, so it will go immediately to be uploaded onto the channel, and then we'll be able to get this posted in the page for you guys. We do have this every single week. So if you have other people on your team, you can share this recording with them, and then they will be able to, of course, attend. They can grab the book, listen to the audio, recommend they grab the book, and then join us next Wednesday at this same time. And again, I'll plan on seeing you guys every Wednesday for the next 8 weeks. All right. Thank you, and have a fantastic rest of your day.